All right, so Tyson Fury made a video today where he's showing himself back in the gym, hitting the bag, and basically saying that he's coming for revenge in this rematch with Alexander Usyk. He's looking to right the wrongs. I'm kind of paraphrasing, but he's essentially looking to learn from his mistakes. And that is good to hear that he is learn from his shortcomings, I think is the words actually he used, which, to me, that's a good thing that he's actually saying that because, as I said, if Tyson Fury feels in that first fight that he did nothing wrong, that he was, jobbed on the scorecards, for want of a better word, because of what's going on in Usyk's home country, which is what you said after the fight. If he actually feels that, then, he's lost this fight before it's even started because he's going to go in thinking that everything he did first time around was perfect where it wasn't. And he doesn't think he needs to improve on things where he needs to improve on a lot of things and thinks it's going to be better second time around when you're in there with a improved Alexander Usyk because he'll have learned from the first fight and what you really think that's going to go well. So he seems to be taking on board some of the criticisms, warrant criticisms, about his performance first time around. And if he can learn from his mistakes and go into this rematch in December with a new game plan, it could make for a very interesting fight because, look, Alexander Usyk, in my opinion, and the opinion of many others, the majority, won that fight pretty clearly, and Tyson Fury took a lot of punishment in there. However, we can't look at that fight and say Tyson Fury didn't do well at times in that fight. He certainly did, even if it was only for a couple of rounds. You have to look at those rounds 4, 5, and 6, and you can easily say that's the best Fury has looked probably since the second Wilder fight 4 years ago, and it will be closer to 5 years again the rematch comes along. And again, 5 years in a fighter's lifespan is like 5 years. It can be prime, done. It might not even be 5 years. It could be prime, done, 3 years. It could be that quick, right? So it's a long time. But those 3 rounds, that was the best I've seen Fury in a long time. Can he sustain that during a fight? I seriously doubt it. I seriously doubt it. And I tell you why. Because Tyson Fury, let's bring it back a little bit, right? Tyson Fury, this is kind of going back to I don't even want to call it an incident. Do you want to call it an incident, really? It's not really. But him obviously being drunk last Friday, being escorted out of a pub in Morecambe for being intoxicated, to say the least. All right? That's not ideal. It's not ideal preparation for Alexander Usyk. Again, I will reiterate what I've been saying from the start. I don't see a problem with a fighter going and having a few beers, letting his hair down, even if he goes away for a week, a weekend away or whatever you want to say it. If he wants to relax after a tough training camp, a tough fight, a loss, yeah, go for it, man, go for it, The majority of people, Jesus, the amount of people I've known in my life who get absolutely, what, every single weekend. I was going to say every single, some of them do genuinely get, one of my friends, his older brother, that guy, god damn, every single day he's on the drink. But I don't have an issue with someone, going out, enjoying themselves, and, let's say he got a little bit too merry, as some would say. But if you are going to do a rematch, your opponent is already preparing what he's going to do in the second fight. He's already trying to right his wrongs from the first fight, and he won. And you're going out getting what it. And this is a fighter in Tyson Fury who he's not lived a clean life up to this point. He has done training camp when he's needed to do it, but you look at those camps and you'd say, how much of that actual camp, if he's in camp for say 10 weeks, how much of that is boxing training and how much of it is fat camp? You can't do that and expect to have a long career. You can't do that and expect to be a top level fighter for the majority of your career if you're doing that. You can get away with it a little bit more at heavyweight because you're not cutting the weight, you're not artificially draining yourself. Yeah, you can get away with it a little bit more, but it's still going to catch up with you. And you can arguably say it's caught up with Tyson Fury probably even before now, really. And in many ways, you could say that Tyson Fury, his game plan for Alexander Usyk was to age Alexander Usyk out, where he may have inadvertently aged himself out. Even though Usyk is the older man, not by much, but he is still the older man, he's taking care of himself. I use an analogy of a car. Say you have two cars, whatever make you want to do. I like BMWs, so we'll say BMWs, right? You've two BMWs. You've got one that was made in 2012 and you've one that was made in 2015. The 2012, although older, has less miles on the clock. It's been driven not as hard. It's been driven by a guy to work every day, takes the motorway in, takes the motorway back, brings his kids to whatever on the weekend and goes golfing on a Sunday. That's it. Whereas the other guy has driven it to bits. He's ragged you know what out of it. Yes, it's 3 years younger, but it's been ragdolled, it's been driven, it's gone through God knows what. And okay, this car is older, but that's the one you want because that has less miles on the clock. It's got less wear and tear. That's basically Fury Usyk. That's essentially what it is. You have a car that, albeit older, it's the one you want. It's more reliable than that one. That one might actually, on its day, be faster. Might be a better drive. But those days are few and far between now. And if you can get it working for that little patch, like an Alfa Romeo, when it works for that little split second, it's brilliant. Oh yeah, and then something's gone wrong. I should have used the Alfa Romeo as an analogy because that really is a BMW and Alfa Romeo. I should have used the both of them as an analogy for Fury and Usyk. But that's essentially what it is. And with Fury still going, drinking, all that stuff, and he's done a video in the gym and saying he's going to right the wrongs. But as I said in Midweek Report, how much of that is the fallout, and I don't want to say backlash necessarily, but the criticism he's received for going and, drink, whereas Usyk is train. How much of that is to kind of maybe show people, oh yeah, get, I was going to say praise, but validation that, oh yeah, now you're training, now you've got this rematch, because that seemed to be what Fury was craving in the run-up to the Usyk fight, the first fight, because he did that bizarre and it was bizarre, it made no sense, that press conference in Morecambe, reeling off reasons as to why Usyk can't win, and you're like, what was that for? Was that just for validation, you wanting people to validate and say, oh yeah, Fury's going to win because of this, Fury's going to win because of that, because it made no sense to me. And this whole situation with, Fury going, face planting the pavement, it's like, I'm sure people have seen this or experienced this in their lives where they go on a night out, there's a couple there, you might know them, you might not, whatever, you probably do know them, and they get into a big row, there's handbags being thrown, all that stuff, and then the next day, their profile pics have changed on their WhatsApp or Instagram, and it's them happy as Larry, hand in hand, and you're like, yeah, we all know what that's about. Forget what happened last night. Look at us now. That's essentially what Fury did. And a little clip of him training, hitting the bag. Don't know what he's going to be doing tomorrow, the next day. How is he really going to go into camp now intent on righting the wrongs, learning from his mistakes, or is he going to do a bit of training today, have a bit of a break, really hit the camp maybe September time or maybe August time when things start to really kind of heat up and, oh yeah, I have to take a bit of weight off, I have to do this, because as I said, Fury doesn't live the lifestyle. He doesn't seem to be someone who particularly enjoys camp life or training life, whereas Alexander Usyk is the opposite. I'm sure for Fury, if you said to him, oh, gyms are closed, you can't train, you can sit at home, I'm sure he would love it. I'm sure he probably enjoyed to an extent a bit of what was going on in 2020 because he could just do what he wanted. Whereas I'm sure someone like Alexander Usyk hated that because where am I going to train? And even if you can't even go out for a run or something like that. So, what is he going to do between now and the start of training camp? Is he going to go into camp having to lose weight? These are the questions you got to ask. Because Fury's given us enough reason to ask those questions. If he goes now and tries to right the wrong, we have a very interesting rematch. If he really has that mindset, we're going to have an interesting rematch. If he doesn't, and he still falls back into old habits, saying that even if he goes and tries to fix what he did starting now, it's probably still not going to be enough. I don't know. I don't think so. I think he took too much punishment in that fight. I think that the damage has been done prior to even the Usyk first fight. And I think the damage has been done. But I'm happy to be proven wrong. And if Fury does learn from his mistakes, if he does take this camp 100% serious and he goes in and even in defeat gives a good account of himself, That's all really you can ask. I don't agree with these people who act as though it's a formality that Tyson Fury wins this rematch. Based off of what? These people saying, oh, well, Fury, he raises his game. Fury literally, you're right when people say, the people who are making the case that Fury is a fighter who, he rises to the occasion. He just fought a guy for Undisputed. What a bigger, on one of the biggest shows in the last 20 years. What more of an occasion do you need to rise to when he could only rise to the occasion for 9 minutes in that fight, realistically? What makes you think it's going to be any different this time? And that Usyk can't do that again. Usyk's been doing it his whole goddamn career, for God's sake. It's bizarre, really. And that's, listen, Fury could prove me wrong. If he does, happy days. But I don't think he will. And certainly, I think that what I mean in that sense is I don't think he'll beat Usyk. But I'm sure he could at least make it more competitive if he starts from now. If he's saying he's going to do it, well, will he? I have my doubts. He's giving me reason to doubt. Long-winded one. I'll leave it there. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you actually believe that Fury from now, as in of that video, is actually going to go and boom, right the wrongs? Or do you think it's going to be, a video's been made, get a bit of validation, back to normal, rest, oh, time to train, let's see what happens. Do you think that's what it's going to be, or do you think he's really going to go for it this time? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope you enjoyed the video. Happy Friday. It's going to go out Friday morning. I hope you enjoy. Give me something to get through the day as we wait for the boxing this weekend, of which there is many. There will be many fights. There will be many fights. I'll leave it there. I hope you enjoyed the video, people. Smash the like button if you could. Subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. Peace.